It's very hard to give you the exact words to be able to describe it, but it is a prison. I was so broken, I could barely stand up. I had the lies of not being wanted, as being orphaned as a child, being through foster care and turning to homosexuality, and then coming out of that, and I had no identity. I was completely stripped of who I was, so that's where I was. I had all this baggage and stuff on me, and I had no idea who I was. For me, as a kid who wasn't abandoned and gone through foster care in different organizations after organizations, you kind of start to feel like that you're unworthy of anyone and that no one's going to stay with you with anything. I have gone through counseling my whole entire life. The spiritual part is where that was always missing. There was no spiritual part talk about it, which we live in a life of spiritual warfare. And so once I was able to learn to fight the spiritual war that was going on, victory started. You could start seeing the light. The light started just appearing, and the victory, manifested itself through Christ, the healing power. So through this program and the support of the two people that came beside me and loved me through this very hard time, and I'm pretty sure that their patience was tested, but I believed, and I knew that the Lord was in the middle of all this, and I could see how He worked through them to touch me. And every time I came, a lie was pulled off, and I was able to breathe a little more deep, and to the point where I am now, where the fear that I used to wake up with that kept me in complete bondage is gone. When we realize that we are children of the King and we are who He says we are, you're transformed with the renewing of your mind through His truth. When I get scared, when fear would come into my mind, this is what I seen. That place where I was stuck when I was a child. And as we started working through this program, I had been drawing since I was a kid, but I quit drawing for years. I started drawing how I felt, or what I seen in my head when I was seeing it. So I drew this one, because this is what I seen all the time when fear would take over my mind. And so then as we worked through things, my pictures would get more graphic, and then I started seeing myself in other ways. And I would just wake up, or if I couldn't sleep, I'd just start drawing. Whenever God would put something in my mind, I would draw the picture. I didn't know what they were when I started. I would just start drawing, and as I drew, the pictures showed themselves. And this one here, you can see I feel like I'm alone, vulnerable, naked, and the world wants to just grab me in its hands, but the Lord's right there, and He's tears. He feels every pain, everything I feel. In the world, the chains that bind us down, the generational bondage, the chains that hold us back, almost has us in a pit. And we don't realize this, but Jesus is actually bending right down to pull us out. It's Him. He doesn't say, okay, here I am, come to me. He bends right down into that pit, and He holds us in and just comforts. The peace that I have is unexplainable, and it's not that my life is perfect now, but I now have the tools and the strength to be able to fight. Jesus in front of me, devil is behind me. That the final project is your masterpiece. That's where your complete healing comes from. That's when the victory is. They're there to encourage you to become the masterpiece that God has created you to be, to who you are in Christ.